I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Just not lining up, but I don't know why. So
Okay.
I'm not going to look at it for a minute because it's driving me nuts.
No worries. So I just get some notes. Team Abe will be at the Sioux next week. In a week.
And I believe it's Abe.
Abe, okay.
Yeah. I looked these all up online myself, so I don't know for sure.
Their lead, Sato, played in represented BC in the world or the Canadian Juniors in 2020. And
My name's Shawn Joyce, joined for this quarterfinal matchup this morning by Aaron Young, and we are featuring the game between Venance and Shinya Abe out of Japan. Abe was the A event qualifier, so by virtue of being the higher seed, he's got last rock here in the opening end of play.
hey, good morning. I guess it's afternoon here on the East Coast, but for most of the world, it's still morning, I believe. So, anyway, get your coffees and let's have a good time. This quarterfinal match. So,
I'd have to look up the time zone for Japan. It might be the middle of the night. No,
yeah, true.
It should be still late evening there, I think. I've never had the privilege of playing in the Vernon club, but I've watched a few of the games this weekend, and I think it might be kind of a cold rink because I see a few more heavy jackets out there today.
There's a toque there that
yeah,
got on his head down on the other end, and a little colder position though too. So
both of the skips look like they're wearing heavy jackets.
Yeah. Call here's come around.
Yeah, we've got some rocks in play here in the opening end.
We want to battle it out by the looks of it. Way to start. It's calling just top four. Looking like a nice little draw there.
Eric Colwell, second for the team, makes the nice draw. Matt Tolley, the lead. Sebastian Robillard, the third. And Glenn Venance, the skip. For the Abe team out of Japan, this is the second, Haruto Otsi. The lead is Hayato Sato. Shinya Abe is the skip, but he throws the third stones, and Tetsuro Shimizu is the fourth thrower. Apologies in advance for all the names I mispronounced this morning.
I think you're doing a great job, Shawn. Play called the run back. Nice shot there with the rollover and clean things up a bit. And beautiful.
Got the tight guard off the center as well. It's got a lot out of that shot.
It's calling for the come around draw to top four again.
Might even want to be a little higher on this one. That guard's fairly long. The deeper you are, the better chance there is that the Japanese team can get in there at it and perhaps even roll behind their corner.
Looking pretty similar to the same weight he just threw. Maybe a little heavy. They're off it.
Yeah, sweepers standing straight up is usually a sign it might be a little on the warm side.
Exactly.
They'd like it to stop in front of the tee line. They're not going to get their wish. Slides just back tee. Probably not quite fully behind the guard either.
I can see a piece of it, by the looks of it. Call's just about just through weight to tap that blue one out and get the roll over.
The indication from the brusher was this might be a little quiet for what they called. Still sweeping to curl here.
Yeah, nice shot.
And manages to hang the shooter on. This can be one of the things that happens. You get an A event qualifier like the Abe team, and they will have to be very aware of it. They qualified Saturday at it was a 12-15 draw here in Vernon, and haven't played a game since then.
Oh wow!
There's been a lot of games. They would have got practice time yesterday. This happens all the time in the triple knockouts, but the precondition or before this event started, they would have conditioned the stones, and they were curling a lot before the event started. We've got men's and women's here, so there's been a lot of draws played, and they do tend to straighten up just a little bit as the event goes on. The teams that have been playing all along, they just adjust to it on the fly. It might seem rather significant to the Abe team playing this morning. Be something to watch.
Just make sure the skipper's dialed in on his ice calls there and line calls. So.
Yeah, well, and everybody, they've got to believe it, right? Because the last
trust.
game they played, everything was curling just probably a little bit more.
Trust is very important. The call here is just a nose. Same kind of weight. It's very important to keep your shooter around. You don't want to be throwing those up hits if you don't have to.
Yeah, important to keep the shooter around, but as you said, nose hit. He does not want to roll behind cover here. Roll behind cover, you may see Venance play a freeze and try to get the force here.
Yeah. Make a nice shot.
Well, it's there if Glenn wants to set up the force. Looks like they're still going to play it with enough weight to try to move it through.
Tap it out a bit, yeah. Back line. A little wide here. Really trying to make a carve curled in.
Yeah.
Just making it work. Just gotta go a little bit.
Gonna touch it. I don't know. He's gonna get it out.
No,
Just
got it out.
Now here's a good example of what I was just talking about, and we'll get a chance to see whether or not the rocks have changed much over the last couple of days, because it's unlikely. Yes, hammer was predetermined here, so they didn't have to draw to the button, but it's probably unlikely that he threw this shot in practice. So he's still going to be putting the broom down based on what he saw 2 days ago. And we'll see whether or not this rock curls the same.
He gets us buried, and definitely looking at a force. Might even create make Glenn play a run back if he gets in the right place.
No shortage of curl to the corner.
They're going to have to go to get by. Little wick off his guard, and it's going to flop into the center line, showing it wide open.
Glenn would love to roll behind here. I saw the gesture. He wants to roll behind the longer guard just because they feel it's a short run if they roll the other way. My picture's a little too small to read lips, but I can sure read broom swings.
Exactly.
We can't roll here or he's going to run it back.
That's right. Got an opportunity now to place one in a good spot and try very good opportunity to score 2. So that's always your end goal if you have the hammer. For the most part. See if you can throw it up. Nice there.
Quiet weight and the inside sweeper on it right away, so might have been a little bit tight. They're going to have to go just to make contact here.
Yeah.
It's not going to.
Not what they look for there, that's for sure, Shawn.
No, well, and you just wonder. They had Sebastian Stone. They just barely made contact. Did that spook him a little bit, threw it a little soft, or maybe got it a little tight? It was a very similar attempt. The weight was very similar.
Very
the first
similar,
one
yeah.
barely crossed, and it might have got him spooked a little bit.
I think a little.
Now, where do you put this if you're... it's Shimizu throws the last stones here. Where do you put this and not leave a double?
Tap. I think they calls a nose tap.
Nose tap or split? If you could ever split both of them in behind, one behind each guard, you've got a chance for 3 here. To play, I get what they're looking at though, to not play a straight draw, because where do you play a straight draw?
Exactly.
You're going to come around a guard where you're not going to leave a double.
Well, we'll see what happens here.
Inside brush down right away, joined quickly by the outside brush, so this might be a line and weight issue.
Boys are on it hard.
Does look like they're playing the split.
Yeah.
Now, where's the shooter going to end up? The raised stone's pretty good. The shooter might pop past the guard into the open. Does it spin back? A little bit.
Well played.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You see enough of that to make the double?
No.
Shawn?
I don't think so. I think he's going to throw similar weight and just try to roll over to the corner of the other one. Looking at that broom, I think it's the same attempt. They just... And you know, he's got the advantage now of seeing how his rock's going to run.
Yeah.
But, you know, the other side of that is he might have the question in his mind because Sebastian's did not run the same. He'll know how he threw the first one, though.
Exactly.
So final stone here for Glenn Venance in the first end without last rock, facing 2. Looking for the hit and roll. On a rock he can, on a rock you can only see about a quarter of, and this one is on the outside. This is what happened with Sebastian Robillard.
Running that center line.
Might have had a little more weight on that one too. It runs very straight, goes right by everything, and Tetsuro Shimizu is going to have a chance to draw for 3 here in the opening end. And the Venance team probably going to have a couple of things to discuss. Now, they know how they threw those rocks, but if they were all thrown clean, you got to wonder if Glenn doesn't have one that curls a little more than the other. That's a horrible way to find out, but it does happen. It does happen.
That's the game of curling we all love.
Yep. Hey, it's an important skill. It's an important skill to learn how to manage your stones.
Yes, it is.
If the speed's the same on him, he'll keep that stone too. He'll use it for a come around, but you got to identify it, and it always hurts when you identify it by giving up what looks like 3 here in the first end. Final stone sitting 2, needs any piece of the rings, and they can pick up 3 here to start things off in this quarterfinal match.
It's looking very similar to the same line he just threw. These are just dusting it, cleaning it off, keeping it clean. Looking like a nice draw for 3.
Brings it right into the top of the button area. Put 3 points on the board for Shinya Abe, and they take the 3-0 lead early in this quarterfinal. Glenn Venance will have last rock in a second.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on. Well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
A nice look at the facility here in Vernon, BC. Just about to begin here in the second end. First stone was actually brought into the back of the forefoot. They would have been looking for that in the top 4. Not totally being asked to throw the corner guard.
Seems like it's running a bit.
Yeah,
Puts her off it here. And
it's the posture that always tells me. If they're standing straight up, they're worried about the weight. If the weight's close, they usually bend over a little.
I think it just snuck in.
Yeah.
That is hittable. Which will be the call when you're up 3 out of the gate. And those are always tough. So close to throwing a nice perfect guard there, and just sneaks in.
Well, this is close to handing the favor back because he's very close to jamming it onto the yellow. They won't mind losing their own out of the back of the house, but boy, that could have been a disaster if they jam it and leave it.
The call here, throw up another corner, just throw a little bit of weight off what you just threw, and should end up a nice spot.
Cleaning this one early, that's probably a good sign that they've taken the weight off.
That's a great shot. Got that one back.
Plenty of curl to that corner.
Yeah. We call for a center guard here. They're coming in. Missed it.
I have to admit, he tapped right top of the house, so just outside, I think.
Yeah, just a nice in the 3 spot there.
It'll be one of those types of shots where throw the center guard, but don't be long. If you're in the house, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, they might have liked that a little tighter, but it is on the center line.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. I don't know whether it's just because they would have liked to play a center or two corners anyway, or because that one's a little long. They're playing another corner guard here, very tight. But this is the 5th stone of the end, so the peels can start after this.
Which I imagine we'll see the Abe team do.
You would think so. Now, I have to admit, this is my first chance to get a look at them. And they do have the center guard.
Stone looks like right where he called it. Nice double guard there. And he hadn't set up for some rocks in play. And right now, we'll see what happens.
He's sure thinking about coming around. I wondered if he might, and only because he called the center guard. A lot of teams in this situation would still have played that third one into the rings. And really, for this team out of Japan, there's 2 ways right now to keep Venance away from using his corner guards. One is to peel them, and the other one is to sit shot rock behind cover in the top of the 4-foot.
Bring the play to the middle.
Yeah.
It's looking a little wide, but might come up a bit and heavy. Back tee.
It does bury nicely, though.
Another 2 stones ahead would have been an ideal spot for the Abe team, but just threw it a hair heavy and allows the Venance team to be able to draw down to it. Be hard to remove that blue stone if he gets in the right place.
Yeah, you may see a series of freezes here.
Did you notice the Abe? Yeah, he's following the rock up there the whole way. And why do you think he was doing that, Shawn?
To judge the speed. He's walking alongside another draw to get a feel for the speed that it was coming down at. Yeah, I've seen a few teams do that over the years. The first one that I can remember doing it, actually, was probably Georgina Wheatcroft.
Oh, yeah.
When you're sweeping your own team's rock and you're bent right down, you don't get the same view of it.
Nice to get a feel, eh?
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's not really the visual, it's the feel for how fast are you walking. That tells you how fast the rock is and gives you a sense when you're coming down on the next one of your own teams. You've got a bit of a pocket here. Could sit top 4-foot in between those 2 stones. I don't know how you get it out. Just bite the button.
They're coming right to it.
Looks like they're trying to come right to it.
It's a little heavy, though, what the original call was. Nice, keening up nice in the spot. Been running a lot of rocks down it, right? So
still leaves the pinhole. There's not a lot of room to try to score 2, though.
No.
On the third stones now. Sebastian Robillard being asked to come down, get to the inside of that yellow, Move it a little bit. It's not going to move very far because it's going to go right onto the blue behind it. But if you don't move it here, I don't know how you ever get to.
This one's looking wide and heavy as well.
Yeah, he threw the weight to move it. You got to make sure you get to the line first. Well, it's not all bad. They did get one of the rocks out of the button area. But another chance now for the skip who throws the third stones, Shinya Abe, to try to come down. And you have to think he's going to try to get this one to the top half of the button. They've slid a few to the back already.
Yeah, nice spot would just get in the 4 foot there, and center line would be a good spot. Buried. Maybe even a little Christmas tree. It's a good spot, right? So
Yeah.
show him a piece. Can't hurt. I think that's the call. Just show him a little piece of it. And like, good line.
Yeah, he's not going to show him very much, I don't think.
Like, real nice line. Good weight. Right where they called.
Grabs a bite of the button. Abe sits 2.
They're liking playing the interns, eh?
Yeah, well, the angles are better for them right now from the interns. All you're doing is jamming from the out. He does have. He's got to try to move this stone. And
Go back 8 weight.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. Like Sebastian on his last attempt really wasn't trying to move it that far, but that's kind of the weight he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sure didn't curl as much with that 3 or 4 feet extra weight. Tightened up the broom quite a bit here for this attempt. Probably looking to throw the same type of weight he just threw.
They're on the line call. It's going to be by the guard.
Once they're by, they'll switch the sweeper, try to get a little extra curl. Might touch both of them.
That's a great shot.
Now, it still jams the blue at the back, but by touching that second yellow, you can see now there's a little bit more room available to score. It's not biting the button anymore.
Creating a little more real estate, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this point in time, you still got to worry about scoring 1, but
Yeah.
that stone at the top of the 4 foot is going to be very difficult to deal with. There's a wall at the back of the 8.
The wall of granite. Lots of places that blue stone can jam on and sit there still. Be very careful.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if I was throwing it, it'd jam on something. If it was my opposition throwing, they'd put it right through those 2 yellows and out the back. That's an interesting call. I'm not sure they'll play it, but they're looking at the round the horn, hit the 2 blues at the back, come up and try to push their own rock back into the button.
Interesting.
And you know, if that shot stone was in front of the tee line, they'd throw a guard here. But it's tough to want to throw a guard on a stone at the back 4 foot.
Yeah,
If you can't do anything with that blue stone at the top of the 4 foot, it would be awfully tempting to throw a guard or some sort. They're playing that around the horn at the back.
wow. This will be fun. If he makes it, then hopefully Ryan's awake for the nice replay and to see it a couple times. Fun to watch here. He's close.
Yeah, needs to be a little thick on the first one, top half of the second one.
Oh, we almost
Oh,
spun
look
it-
at the
spun
spin.
up too. Wow.
That spin was huge because if he doesn't spin up like that, it might have left a double on the yellows. The slash double is probably still there if Glenn wants to play it. We'll take one more look at this. Fairly thin on the first one. The only way he gets into the back end and pushes it up, if he's a little thicker on the first one, thin on the second, he might push it up, but then he probably stays beside it and leaves a double. That spin really helped him.
Well,
He's got
certainly did.
edge of that stone is undercover.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would play the nose tap back into that pocket and still have your blue sitting up there. They are looking at playing. There's the draw call there.
The out turn. Yeah.
Yeah. They were looking at playing some weight and moving all those yellows.
Yeah, and I'm not sure you have to do that. Just because the slash is there doesn't mean you have to hit it hard. Like you could come down with, what would you say, back 12 foot. You only need to move the second rock, 6 inches to make that stone at the top of the house shot rock?
Exactly.
So you could play it with back 12 foot weight and sit 2. And then if you did happen to crash your own on the way by, you probably push it in for shot rock.
So I kind of like those catchers there and not touch them right at this very moment. But they are opting to play the big weight, move all these yellow ones around a bit. And see what the outcome lies.
He's got to hit the first one very thick because it's already behind the second one he's trying to hit with his shooter. And if you come to the back end of it, I don't think it's going anywhere. That's interesting. I think they thought, and I certainly agreed, that it was going to touch that other yellow stone. It didn't move in at all.
No, had to be a bit thicker, I think, to shove that up. More weight.
Good result, though, for him.
Yep.
Sitting
Number 2 and 3.
second and third. That one at the top of the 4 foot still doesn't have any way to get it out. Can make a play on the one at the back of the 4 foot, but what he's worried about, that double that will be left on the yellows, is there a way to get there?
It's been a really well thought out end, Shawn, by both teams.
Yeah, anytime you get some rocks in play, it forces the teams to look at all the angles, and really for most of the end, Venance was in trouble when they got that blue to the top of the 4 foot and no way to get it out. Now it's, as much as they've never been shot yet, they're still in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, controlling the tee line, right?
Yep. If Shimizu's going to go after that blue on the top, at the back of the 4 foot, the other issue is he's got to get to the nose. If he rolls to the broom side at all, he'll leave a fairly easy double.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if he can see any of that top blue one from the hack.
Probably a little, enough to play the over-the-top double if that's what you're looking at, but there's some risk with that. If you ever just jam it, it's just an easy draw for 2. Yeah, you can see over half. It's way more than he needs to hit to play that.
You're also playing the scoreboard as well.
Yeah.
Never a bad thing. They haven't thrown many stones down this side either, so it's gonna curl up. Boys are on it.
Making sure they're by the guard first, and then they'll look for curl at the end.
That might flop a little bit. It's out for the Abe team to sit 2. One blue, one left to come.
Now, can you get to the inside of that enough to have your shooter come across and move that yellow stone about 6 inches?
I almost think it looks easier to play the blue back. No?
I'm not sure you can see enough of the blue. Like you could certainly see enough of the blue to play blue onto yellow and get 1. I'm not sure you could see enough of it to make the double. And if you don't make the double, your shooter's not counting the second point.
Yeah.
They'll throw this to make sure they get by the guard. If you hit the yellow at all, you've got 1. If you can make the roll and touch the other stone, it's for 2.
Not playing much ice either. It looks a little wide.
Curling now.
Coming now.
By the guard. By the stone at the top of the 4. You know, you had to throw the quiet weight to get the finish, and with that quiet weight, I just don't know if he could have hit it thin enough to get across. Does pick up his single point on the board. Abe has the 3-1 lead, and they'll have last rock when we come back for the third.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Third end underway here in this quarterfinal matchup. Shinya Abe with a 3-1 lead over Glenn Venance as we begin here. The attempt at the center guard just a little off that center line, and that is important because the no-tick zone rule is in effect. I think it will be at all the bonspiels this year. It's an issue in playdowns, so I think it's being adopted everywhere.
Yeah, from my understanding.
And I say I think because then we're going to run into an event somewhere where it's not. And so then I'm covered.
You are.
Well, I did do some doubles this weekend as well, and that's one of the things you have to... There's a few subtle differences in the rules from one discipline to the other, and that's one of them is that they do not use that no-tick zone yet in the doubles.
I got caught on that doing the game as well on the doubles. I just assumed, which you never should do. And, yeah, good friend Matt there corrected me, so learned something.
I actually knew, but I had to... When you're going back and forth over the course of the weekend, you just have to keep reminding yourself. The other thing that I like to point out when we're talking about the doubles, when you see the power play in the doubles, a lot of times teams will play that shot to try to push the corner guard into the ring so that they can hit it. And that is a shot that has made its way into 4-player curling. But it started in doubles. Nobody had ever tried that in 4-player until teams started doing it in doubles.
It's a nice shot to have in your back pocket, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it's interesting how that evolved in the strategy. It didn't come from the 4-player curling. It came from the doubles.
Mm-hmm. Venance with a couple center guards there. This last one he just threw did capture the center line, so the couple up there, we're going to have a lot of play towards the center of the rings, and should be in for another interesting end.
Might have liked that a little bit more under the guard. He's got a sliver under, but I think there's room. Glenn thinks there's room to get to the inside of that and move these yellows around a little bit. Now this was the spot in the first end where they had a little bit of trouble. Sebastian and Glenn both threw rocks that ran straight, wouldn't cross center, although Glenn's first one in that first end over curled. So there might be a little bit of a ridge there where you get outside of it, it just doesn't curl the same. He needs to get across the face on this.
But down weight here.
It looks like nice right weight, or a nice line coming in.
Tap some granite around and get buried. Good shot.
Yeah.
Very nice. Good call well. Real nice weight call there.
3-1 lead with last rock and all the plays in the middle, and I just wonder how long it takes to peel the guards here.
You're right.
It'll all be about whether or not he wants to go after the double peel, because there is a risk going after the double peel that you could bring it back into those two yellows in the forefoot.
Top to the peel here now.
Yeah, and he is looking for the double. Not going to get it, just drives it across the top of the guard closer to the rings, and that is the one that actually guards the blue stone. So the blue stone sits third at the top of the 8-foot, still fully buried.
So it looks like Glenn is calling just another little, about the same weight that just threw, and move those stones just a little bit further back and try to get the roll under to have two buried behind that center guard up there.
Yeah. Calling it to roll behind the guard, but you know, I'm looking at it thinking you don't even have to. You could just, with that same weight, tap the yellow on the nose. The yellows will split probably pretty even, and you'll sit right in front of them. That's not bad either. He's got some options here.
Yeah.
This is a lot. This is more weight. Still works.
Might set up a double, or
Yeah, how do you not jam if you play the double? You'd have to hit the one that he just threw first on the inside, and it's jamming on the yellow right behind it. That worked out really well.
yeah. It's a nice shot.
It's funny, you see this all the time now. For the people that don't watch a lot of curling, you're looking at this thinking, well, Abe's sitting too, he's in good shape. No, he's not.
No.
Venance is in really good shape right now.
Especially early in the end, you want your stones to be ahead of that tee line.
And I think he's opting to play that double you were looking at, knowing that, you know, he's going to jam the one blue, but that yellow back there is not helping him, and eventually it's going to have to leave anyway. So he's going to do it right here.
Shooter should stick around. Okay.
Oh, well, that worked out as well as it probably could for Abe, moving everything out of that 4-foot area. He does leave it. The shooter's the only one that stays there. Touches all 4 stones that were in the rings.
Very nice positive release on that stone. Kept it nice and straight and hit the stick dead on, and great shot.
Fairly tight by the guard. It's the only way he could spill that first blue into the 8-foot. Otherwise, it would have dead jammed. And as a little bonus, he hung one of those yellows, hung on for a biter at the very back of the 12-foot, and with last rock.
They come into play quite often, don't they?
Yeah. Well, when it's sitting so far back there, it's not really a rock that Glenn's going to want to have to deal with, so you ignore it, and if you ignore it long enough and a double gets made somewhere along the way, it ends up on the scoreboard.
So the call here is to come top 4, buried behind their guard.
Has to be top 4. Doesn't want to leave the in-off double on the blue that's in the 8-foot. This might be a little deep.
A little deep. Double might be set up nice. The angles there. Tough one.
Yeah. Well, and even if he just rolls in front of the 2 is not bad. You know, you could draw and get there too, but if you want to keep the threat of that biter at the back, you probably have to play the hit, even if you don't kill the second one right now. He's going to draw.
What's the call?
It's the easiest way to get to the pocket, for sure.
They've had their weight all game as well, so.
Well, and you know what? If you sit right on the corner of the blue, you could still leave it queued up to play that in-off later on in the end.
Yeah, that's very true, Shawn. So the call is to get this one into the pocket for the Abe team and draw one in there. With hammer here in the third end, up 3-1.
Sweeping for curl. Now starting to move. I wonder if they didn't over curl this. But he's going to get to the face of it. I would have liked. Oh, stays a little bit on the corner.
It's going to be hard to get that stone out of there.
It is. I'm greedy. I would have liked to have been a little more on the corner and queue up that other shot. The other shot's not there now, but I don't know what you do if you're. Well, Glenn might play it to try to get into the pocket of the 2 yellows. That's what he's looking at. You can, if you draw the line there, you can kind of see how it works. It's hard to draw to between those 2 yellows because of where you're coming from. But if you can come off the blue, you could actually come into the pocket of the 2 yellows, and you know, in theory, you could kill them both. Although
with a pile of weight, yeah.
Yeah. They'd spill around the blue at the back of the 4. He's looking at coming down directly as well. The problem is you're never getting it by that blue. You'd probably still be leaving Abe sitting 2 right now, but your shooter could be in a good spot.
Is there a draw to sit right on the pin, kind of in the crotch?
Well, there's a draw to sit on the pin. You're not going to be right to the face. If you look at the shot from the hack end, that stone that Abe just threw is still an 1/8 maybe in front of the shot stone.
I think they are playing this in off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That'd be close to the same. So this ice, it could be the in turn to play the in off, or the out turn to just try to tap the yellow that was just thrown, and the broom would be pretty close to the same.
So both, yeah.
Yeah. We won't know till he sets up in the hacks, I guess. Looks like the out turn. So it's just the little tap on the one that was just thrown. I think it's going to have to jam the blue. Abe's probably still sitting 2 after this, but your shooter could be in front of the 2 yellows in a good spot.
They're calling for the weights up here, so.
And a lot of rotation. This is going to have to curl.
It's coming up a hair here.
Plan B. They're going to tap the back one now. That was good recognition that you weren't getting plan A, and you better make sure you get something out of it.
There's one lonely rock in there amongst 3 others for the Abe team with hammer.
It's not as lonely as you might like it to be if you were you were Glenn Venance, because there's still 2 biters at the back.
True.
certainly could get all three blues moving on one shot if you wanted to. You play the in-off. I think the second one, the one that's in the button now, is probably coming back towards those yellows, and you're going to leave a double in the middle. He's going to play the draw. I think what they were gesturing at was tap the yellow that's there onto the blue at the back forefoot and then stay corner frozen on the one that was just thrown. It is tough for us when we don't have mics on the players. And in this case, we wouldn't be able to understand them anyway, but they're looking at all the options, and there are a lot when you get this many rocks in the forefoot, and you just don't know for sure which one they've settled on. But this ice, it's definitely a draw. It's a lot more ice than the Venance team just played.
We're sweeping for weight here. Just down in the pocket. Tap that back a bit.
Wanted to leave it angled, I think, towards that back blue, and I'm not sure that they did.
Looks still like blue sitting one.
Yep.
And there's not really a good angle off those yellows right now to get at that.
No, but I would say that probably over-curled what Abe had intended, because he's left the pocket for the freeze. If he stays just an inch or two straighter and leaves the two yellows queued up to go into that blue at the back forefoot, then he could play with some weight later if he needs to.
Abe still has that in off too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and there's a chance, like I said, that it could move all three blues. Now that the middle one would be coming back towards those yellows at the back, but it may not stay. Glenn needs to make this freeze. You freeze this one in the pocket, and I don't think there's enough rocks left in the end to get rid of it. You move things around.
Here. We got the coat coming off.
Wait. He's done that every time. That's a difference, actually. Shinya Abe throwing with a coat on, and Glenn takes his off, but they're both wearing the heavier coats, so must be a little chilly out there
on this fall October day.
A little trouble with the landing gear. Those are always a problem. You take a little bit of a wobble and you know you lost a little weight, but you just don't know how much. Still looks like it's close.
Call here is to get one in the pocket.
Yeah, they got to get by the yellow at the top. I don't know if they did. They might have lost this. I think it worked out. They're fortunate. If that rubs off to come to the other side of the blue on the button, you leave a double and you're in all kinds of trouble. It stopped in time. They're looking at the in-off double. The problem with that is if you make it now, the blue that was just thrown is pretty easy to tap into the pocket with any kind of weight you want to throw.
Even if...
What could you do with the top one?
I don't think you need to worry. Well...
That rock's a problem.
Yeah.
Would you ever play it and just dead jam it? You'd be shot rock. And then you've got a way to get it out on the last one.
I think that's the call.
Just get across the face, dead jam that one, roll over, and leave the three yellows in a line.
Exactly.
So the blue would be wide open, yellow would be shot rock. The in-off wouldn't do you any good anymore, though, because that blue would be high enough it would go into the yellows if you had to play the in-off.
I think the in-offs there where that blue almost spin. The top one they just threw gets up into the 8
hit it thick and spin up into that one? You could, sure.
And you might have a chance to sit 3 here if you hit it this right. If you get it perfectly in that crotch.
If you make the double, you're sitting 3 because you're already second and third. But I think you're right. I think if you're going to play this, I think you got to try to hit the top end of the second stone and spin up and move that other one a little bit.
Yeah.
If you just rattle the double and just sit there, Glenn can do whatever he wants with that stone at the top of the forefoot. He can tap it up. He can play it as a hit. There's a lot of good things that he can do with that. I think you need to change that angle a little bit if you can.
I think we're going to see some weight come at this one.
Yeah, I would agree. Tetsuro Shimizu throws the final stones for this Japanese team, throwing the big weight on the out turn.
Looks like a solid release.
We've been looking for this out turn the whole end. Might be a little thin on the first
A
one.
little thin, I think.
It does let him to move the 3, and that's the shot I've been talking about all in, and it did come right back to the yellow at the back. It actually didn't work out that bad because where the shooter ended up, there's more separation there than I thought there was going to be. It might have come back a little. Take one more look at this.
They are sitting 1, 2, and 3 after that. I think it hit
A little thin on the first one. Well, it moved the other yellow.
Mm-hmm.
The blue touched the yellow on the button and moved it, so there's a bit of a gap between the yellows now. Does Glenn not have to come off that one? What he's looking at now. Hit and roll in. But how far in do you roll? If you roll all the way into the yellow one, there's a double there for 3.
I think he could move all 3 of those yellows if he hits it in the right spot.
Do you think you could see enough air by the blue one? I don't think you can.
Is he just playing? I think he's just playing.
Just the hit and roll.
Okay.
Hit and roll off the yellow. Try to get a piece of the button. The question is just how much of the button you want to get. If you roll right into the shot rock, and you can take a look at it from the hack end where you see the air. If you roll right into the shot rock, you leave a nose hit double on the blues. So I think you have to stay a little bit on the broom side. There's probably still room to roll in for shot, though, and still be on the broom side.
Nice quiet weight here. Good release by the looks of it. Has been curling up pretty good in the spot here now.
Gonna need some curl on this one.
Yeah.
Gonna make the hit. The question will be whether or not he can get the roll into the 4, and he does not.
So, yellow still sitting 2. There might be even just a cold hard draw or play off that up one.
The first one they looked at was the hit and roll in.
That's what their call is.
Yeah.
Post another 3 spot on the board.
He does have a little bit more real estate with the hit and roll than he does with the draw.
Yeah.
So.
It's the right call for sure.
Yeah, especially when I was looking at the overhead. When you look at the hack end shot, yeah, that draw doesn't look very good.
No,
it's there. It's there, but it doesn't look very good.
Right. He's been throwing nice, very nice shots all game, so I expect him to make it.
Final stone. Sitting 2, looking for the hit and roll, needs to roll into the full 4-foot. Can pick up their second 3-ender of the game. This is close.
Very nice.
Makes the roll to the back 4. Put 3 more points on the board for Shinya Abe, and they take a commanding 6-1 lead after 3 ends of play. Venance will have last rock in the 4th.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Fourth end underway. First stone brought into the top button area. Now, Matt Tolley being asked to throw the corner guard.
Couple threes on the board for the Abe team. One in the first and one in the third. Make it a 6-1 game.
Yeah, for a team that probably thinks that football is what we call soccer, they've got a pretty good field goal kicker.
I'd take him on my fantasy team. That one coming a little heavy into the rings and be asked to...
Yeah, second time for Matt Tolley to slide a corner guard attempt into the rings. Both coming this direction, too.
It's probably downhill that way.
Well, you say that as a joke, but I've played in rinks where it really is a little bit different one way than the other.
Yeah.
And it's just... By Monday, you would expect they would know that, though.
Exactly. Up and throw the guard back up and really get this one in a good spot here. The Venance team has a mountain to climb, as they would say, here in the fourth, and hoping to get a couple guards up so they can use them later on in the end to protect their stones. So, see what happens.
They're a BC team. They should be used to mountains.
Yeah, true.
From just up the road, actually, in Penticton, I believe is where it said they were registered from. A little bit longer of a drive for this Abe team, registered out of, I think it's Sapporo in Japan. You might need a boat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Glenn.
I do believe the lead out of off this Japanese team did play in the 2020 Canadian World Juniors out of BC. Yoto Seto, which is kind of neat, and moved back to Japan, and here he is back in the province here, being in the quarterfinal today. So.
No thoughts of throwing a guard here with a 5-point lead. They just pile the rocks into the 4-foot. That was the fifth stone of the end. They'll be able to peel in the next one, but you pile everything into the middle. You know that Glenn's got to deal with them eventually, and while he's dealing with those, you're going to deal with the ones on the corner. The cat and mouse game doesn't really change much.
Ignore as long as you can.
Yeah.
5, right?
Yeah.
Good looking stone coming into the house here. Very nice shot. Above the tee line, dead buried. Probably see the peel here now.
Yeah. The only question is whether he's just going to straight peel or try the double. And I think this might be one where you've called the straight peel, but you see Abe has stayed in the house. So if there's a chance to play the double, he'll call the line for it.
Yeah, you just make that one go away and
yeah, throw it safe. Glenn probably has to guard it for a while. He can't guard it right through, though, because I don't think there's a triple on those yellows. As much as they're close together, I don't see a triple to be made. There might be one if the blue wasn't there.
Yeah. No, exactly. Opting to throw up the guard again to protect that one that he just threw.
Yeah. Won't make the move in the house too early. You give them too many chances to make a double across the house and kill your end on you.
Showed him a little piece of it in the house, and
That's never a bad idea. Show them the teaser. Maybe they go after the one in the rings and rub the guard. If they just peel the one out of the house, you still got a guard to come around, so. Can I put you on the spot? Do you want to predict when do you make the move on those yellows, and what is the move that you make?
if you are wanting to score here in the fourth, I would think your next one, you're going to have to play a little tap and move them back a little bit and create some backing that they can be protected. I would say your next one, if he rips this one out, I imagine that he'll call the come around to get in a good spot here now. So there's 4 shots left to come. So
yeah, but you got three yellows you got to deal with. I'm going to play devil's advocate. So it's not just a double. There's 3 of them you got to deal with. So do you need 4 rocks to do that?
Right. I believe you could play the hit and roll off the center one right now and try to get it buried. That's not a bad call.
Try to get it buried? I was actually looking at it the other way. Do you hit it just off the nose, just dead jam it, and stay in the pocket?
Yeah, that's a good spot too.
With any weight. He's looking at just doing it with a tap, but you can actually remove the back one if you wanted to.
I think the only way to get 3 is to get one behind that guard right now. So, but...
yeah, it depends. If you get something frozen in between the 2 yellows, get the jam, you could come around the guard on the next one. He's still going to have to deal with the open one.
Going to be playing a little.
This does not have the weight, I don't think, to move anything, and they'd be lucky to hold the line. Oh, maybe it's got more weight than I thought.
It's coming up now. Still right to the nose. Froze there.
And sits on the corner. That's really good.
Hard to get that one out of there right now, but there'll be some weight coming at it.
I don't think there will. I think it'll just be control, because you're just going to jam that one. You want to leave it right there. If you throw it hard, it might roll into the other yellows. You actually could hit it 3/4 and stay corner frozen to it yourself. It's not bad.
That's
or
true.
Roll off.
It's a problem rock, though.
It is, and you can't get rid of it here. All you can do here is create a way to get rid of it on the next one. You can see why I might have liked to get that back one all the way out, though. If he makes this shot, you can't just go around the corner. There's still too many in the middle to deal with. But if you got rid of the back one, he makes this shot, he's going to leave a double in the middle. Now you could go around the corner. He's got to hit the open one, and there's a chance you could get 3. You're not going to be able to use the corner guard now.
Throwing some weight at it.
Yeah, more weight than I would have thought. He's got to be careful not to spill this blue back into the middle.
Just make some rocks go away, right?
It does, but now you've got the chance to use the corner guard.
Which I'm opting to do.
You go around the corner. He's got to hit the open one.
Leaves a double. You
Leaves
might be able to spin it in underneath again, right? So.
Yeah. Or you could just, if the double's not looking great, you could even play a hit and roll off either one of them. Try to get behind the corner, sit 2 behind the corner, and where does he put the last one that doesn't leave you a double?
Right. This is an important stone.
Yeah.
For the Venance team.
And it's not just about getting in behind the corner. You can see where Glenn's got the broom. This one needs to be high because if you're trying to roll behind off anything else, you don't want this rock in the way. Great line. It's not going to get there, though. They have had some struggles with their draw weight, especially to that corner.
Yeah. Some days you have it, some days you don't. It's just part of the game. We're trying to overcome them. You run out of time pretty quick. You can see on their faces. I'd say just a nose hit here, nice controlled weight. Maybe get a little flop, it's not a bad thing.
Which way? In or
I'd
out?
flop to the left side of the house if possible, maybe. Nose is good.
Nose is good. I don't think I want to flop to the middle. You might give them the chance to get out of this with a blank. That's
Exactly.
pretty good there.
It's a great shot there. Real tough double.
Well, you got the hit and roll behind the corner off shot rock. You got the two options for a roll, as you saw Sebastian Robillard indicate. We could roll in front of the yellow shot rock if we hit the one in the 8 foot, or roll past it in behind the guard.
How do we score 2 with 2 left?
Yeah, I think the hesitation on the hit on the, and again, we can't hear them, so I'm just speculating. I think the hesitation on the hit on the shot stone is they're worried that by the time they get in behind the corners, they won't be shot rock. I don't know how much you can worry about that, although it's, if you leave the one in the 8 foot and the Abe team just needs to split rings, it's a whole lot easier to sit 2 without leaving a double if that's the first one. If you could hit the other one and force him to split rings, it's hard not to leave a double onto a rock on the button. This is
Call here is to hit that one right on the center. Try to flop underneath.
Yep. Just not sure if you're dead buried. I don't know if you're shot rock. You're also likely behind the tee line.
Like a nice positive release there. It's looking like a nose.
Might get a little roll. I don't know that it's going to be far enough, though.
See, you'll be able to see the whole stone from the hack. And
Yep. We talked about the roll to the top of the button. Actually, I think if you could hit it right on the nose, I'm not sure you could hit it on the nose again and be shot. Yeah, he's not going to want to flirt with the guards too much, but
no, just make this blue one go away, and he's hopefully sit roll enough so no double there. And
I don't even think you can worry about the double at this point in time. It's tough to make the double and roll out. So
just playing for the force here.
Yep.
Looking like a good stone coming in. And puts it right back to where it was previously, basically.
Sebastian wondering about the blank. Glenn hasn't turned around yet. It's a low percentage shot. It's probably there.
Yeah, might be game over if you don't make it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Just opting to play the nose hit, sit one, and move on into the fifth. Be down 4. Good throw.
Makes the hit, stays right there, puts another point on the board, but trails by 4 after 4 ends of play. 6-2. Team out of Sapporo, Japan with last rock in the fifth.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Fifth end underway. We did get the center guard on the center line this time for the Venance team, and just see the first come-around attempt from the Abe team. Got about a quarter behind cover, well, maybe half behind cover, just top 4. Matt Tolley being asked to come around now. I'm actually surprised by this call. I'll be honest, I thought we were at the point where it's 2 center guard time.
Yeah, check up a couple, and but when we get the 5 rock rule, you might be able to get a couple in the house, and if you get them in good spots. She's a all or nothing kind of end by the looks of it. And it might show a little piece. It's a scary one though to play on.
It is. You know, this is the kind of shot that the no-tick rule has kind of changed. Used to be you tight ice this and figure, well, as long as we make one of them move coming by, we're good. But if it's the guard now that you move, it goes back and the shooter comes off.
Wasted stone.
Yeah.
The way this Abe team's been throwing today, and I'm assuming all Spiel, it doesn't scare them one bit. Nice looking shot there. And gets it over to the full 12 foot. And
House of the Rings does stay in play.
Staggered out.
Now we can almost start mapping out the end from here. It's come around the guard, peel the guard.
Right. Guard. Peel the guard.
Guard, peel the guard, and then it's... Again, at some point in the end, Glenn's going to have to make a play in the rings, but how late do you wait? And I guess it might depend on just exactly where they get this one. You'd love to get it frozen to the face of the yellow if you could.
It's looking a little light.
Yeah, it kind of looked like they were calling for it higher. I'd like that right to the face of the yellow myself. Abe's not going to even risk the double. There's too many rocks to jam on. So just straight peel on the center guard now. This is the 6th rock of the end. You can start making guards go away.
Nice shot. We are in the 5th end here. Team Abe up 6-2 with hammer against the Venance team out of Penticton. And a well-played game here for the Abe rank, and forcing the Blues to throw some guards up here now and try to make an end out of it.
Just trying to guard the tight guard now. You might see one more guard after this. Then I think they probably have to make a move into the house. The question will be, what move do you make? You could freeze the yellow, or you could come around on the in-turn to the back of the 4-foot around everything and deal with the yellow later. It's not a great setup now because the only guard you're going to have to work with is still a foot off the center line.
That seemed like a fairly simple peel for him.
Yep. Yeah, this is all pretty routine. These are always they seem a little more tiring for the team that's throwing the guards too, because it takes you about 25 seconds from the time you leave the hacks to get that guard in place. And by the time you get back down to the other end, it's already gone.
Basically hoping for a miss at some point. As you can see the Japanese player following that rock up, timing it, getting the hog-to-hog time, and getting a good feel for the surface.
Now this is interesting. They know that if they peel the guard one more time, Venance is not throwing another one.
They'll be coming in.
So they talked about the options, but I think they're still going to peel the guard here. I don't know that they were discussing their own options. I think they were discussing these are the 2 shots that Glenn's liable to play.
And play right now is off the center line too, right? So
yeah, it's how much can you worry about it? I mean, if the rest of the end goes perfect for Glenn Venance, then Tetsuro Shimizu is still going to have the button to draw to for his single point.
Had to do some work on that one.
Yeah, another peel made.
Calling back for weight.
Yeah, they're going to make the play onto the yellow shot stone.
Calling for line here. It's looking like a nice shot coming in.
Yeah, if he's got enough to put it behind the tee line, he's good, and it does.
Great shot.
Not sure who shot rock just yet, but that doesn't matter at this point.
Still looks like yellow to me. Back 4. But
Yeah, I'm not sure it matters. I think you're peeling the guard anyway.
I would think that would be the correct call and open everything up. Give your skipper a shot at the end.
I guess if the blue one at the top of the forefoot is shot rock, if you peel the guard, they're just going to guard it. But still, that's a rock you expect to be able to outdraw at the end of the end if you had to.
They're looking at this, trying to make both blues go away by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that if they're looking at trying to get both of them, or if they're just looking at where can we not hit this. We don't want to jam. We haven't seen Abe throw huge weight yet. He's going to go after this. You might see a little bit more weight, because if you jam it on the back, you want to make sure that at least one of these blues is spinning out.
There's a big risk for that shooter that the blue just threw there to jam stuff on that yellow one. It's back four, right? So.
Well, and you won't mind jamming one as long as the other one leaves. Did throw the big weight.
Just over
Misses
the top.
the one at the top, but peels the guard.
What's the call here now, Shawn?
Well, if you think the yellow at the back is shot rock, you know, you still could guard, just straight guard the shot rock and play something on the last one. The problem with playing in the house now is he's going to try the double.
Right. You could play a little tap frozen.
He's still gonna play the double.
Yeah.
I think I'm guarding here. You make him peel the guard and make your good one on your last shot.
My gut feels the guard as well. That's a great thing about curling, though. There's lots of different shots. Everybody kind of has different strategies.
I think if you make your move in the house on your last one, you can't play the double, because he's not going to risk jamming and giving up a steal at two. Play this now, he's going to play the double. Even if it's an absolute disaster, everything's behind the tee line.
Exactly. Should have a shot for one come the end.
Yeah.
You still have that hanger over there too, over in the 12.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that could put the
deuce up.
game. Yeah, it could put the game away.
Looking like a guard here.
Yeah. Well, I think they were just looking at what are their options with the last one. I think they were always playing the guard here.
It was a good one. Dead buried.
They fully expect him to peel the guard, and I think they've already figured out in their own mind what shot they want to play with the last one. You've got the same in-turn, which is more weight, come down to the yellow at the back, and probably want to move it an inch or two to make sure you're sitting two, or you could play the tap.
So there is a possibility that if they're running this back, that blue one could catch out on that hanger out in the 12-foot.
Yeah, it depends which way they're trying to run it.
And the one that is top four might jam on that back four as well. So
yeah, there's a way to hit this so you could jam actually. You'd probably leave a guard up, although it would get off the center line. Positive release and a little bit of a set. This is going to run very straight peel on the guard now. Oh, might have been getting rid of that little biter at the back, and Abe forgot it was back there and caught the rock. Not going to matter now. So, looks like they're going to play to the yellow one.
they have to get this in a good spot. Very important. Could set up a double, and could be a 3-ender, another one, if it isn't.
Yeah, if you get real close to the face of the yellow, I don't think he risks the double, because a jam you know, you double jam, it's a steal at 2.
You just got to make sure it gets to back there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you might like to move it 3 inches just to make sure you're already sitting 2 as well.
And just hit 2, exactly. Right. That's your end goal here. It's a very touchy shot coming up. It's in the sweeper's hands now, and
good rotation. The line should hold, but it's getting tight.
it's by.
Once they're by, they'll sweep for the last little bit of curl.
Oh, that's a great shot.
It's the best he could do. Sitting 2. Unfortunately, the angle's not great for Venance. They can try the double because I don't think there's any way to jam both of them.
This could be a double for 3.
It could be. Certainly for 2.
Might lose that back one.
You might, I mean, but it's possible. You know, if it looks really close. If you're right on the nose, it might pick it clean over the top of that back one.
The Abe rink throwing the last one here in the 5th end for a shot for 3.
He's outside. They're going to have to go to get this to curl.
Close.
He's catching the second one. Does.
Oh, got it. Picked it out. What a shot. Game.
Put another field goal on the board, and that's handshakes. It's a 9-2 final. The Abe team from Sapporo, Japan, came through the A event. They're still undefeated. They've moved through the quarterfinals. They'll be on to the semifinal this afternoon here. It's the Prestige Hotels and Resorts Curling Classic from Vernon. We've got, I don't want to do time conversions for everybody. So
No.
The semifinal is set to begin in about an hour and a half. Now, it'll be pending the results in the other quarterfinals, but right now it looks like we should still be on time. So on behalf of myself, Shawn, Joyce, and my broadcast partner here this morning, Aaron Young, we want to thank everybody for joining us this morning and for having been here all weekend long, and we hope to see you again through the rest of this championship Monday on Curling Stadium Vernon and the Curling Zone YouTube network.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and thank you to Curling Zone for putting this on. We'll have everyone have a great day and enjoy the semifinals.
One last look at this outstanding double before we go. Brushing all the way down from the offside to get that last little bit of curl, and by hitting it just that slight bit off nose, able to pick the second one clean. 3 points at a time is a good way to play offense in curling.
You're right there, Shawn.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.